Greetings. From the Hilt cautions that this program may contain mature content that includes adult language, sexual innuendos, and other some such content. Sam Nolikey warns that it could get a bit funky fresh up in here with the best community on YouTube. Please enjoy the show.
Greetings, I'm Christopher Logan Hilt, the G.I. Joe Gamer. Hello to Spine Ticks and Cody, welcome, and whoever else is watching. Today we're going to look at something that's near and dear to me, even though I haven't really read them in a long time, so I've been really excited to check them out. I'm going to start with a Fantasy Forest book. Now this really is an Endless Quest, but it is by TSR, and it is by James M. Ward, who definitely did a lot of TSR stuff. Yo, Joe. Yes, sir, Spine Ticks. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of look at these and read like a little bit of the synopsis. And then when we're done, whoever's here can vote on which one we'll read. We'll read one together. Also, full disclosure, I don't have all of the Endless Quest books. I'm missing about 14 out of 36. So, and I do have a couple of the newer ones they made. Oddly enough, they made 14 afterwards in the 90s. I have a couple of those too, and we'll look at those too. I'm not real familiar with those ones though. I think I've only read each of them once. So for the Ring, the Sword, and the Unicorn, this is what they call the Fantasy Forest book. It was their attempt later on after Endless Quest books to get into the pick a path to adventure. So this one says, what happens when you enter a Fantasy Forest book? You become the hero, you must choose the path to follow, but be warned, anything can happen. Will you be attacked by fierce monsters? Will you be trapped by an evil wizard's magic spell? Or can you outsmart them all? Turn the page and find out. Only you can decide where your adventure will lead. When your story ends, go back to the beginning and choose a different path. Read The Ring, the Sword, and the Unicorn again and again for new adventures. Now, I'm hoping they're not all just very generic like that. But again, this isn't part of the Endless Quest series. This basically just tells you what a pick a path to adventure or choose your own adventure books are like. But the first one in the series is Dungeon of Dread. And I'll show you how much I read this book. Ta-da! Parts of it are not attached, but I have the complete book. Dungeon of Dread, what I liked about this one was you're an experienced warrior, and most of them seem to be centered on just starting out. I really love this one, yes. This one says, you are Carrick, a brave knight in a world where dragons roam. Turn the pages of this Endless Quest book for many new and exciting adventures. When it comes time for action, you decide. Will you fight the monsters that rush you from the dark? Will you try to trick the evil wizard who controls the dungeon? Or will you run into the unknown down another corridor? The thrills and challenges don't stop with the first reading. You can ask yourself, what if I had done it a different way? And read the book again to find out. In every Endless Quest book, you pick the path you want and find your own adventure. Will you solve the mystery of the Dungeon of Dread? The choices are yours. I love these old books. And just a simple synopsis. We got Mountain of Mirrors. I actually have 2 copies of Mountain of Mirrors, so I'll probably be reading off of this one. Mountain of Mirrors. Yeah, it's been a while since I read any of these. Okay, you are landed, a brave elf, on your first mission into the land of frost giants and ogres. Will you be able to stop the evil that controls the Mountain of Mirrors? The paths you may take through the mountain are many, and the choices are yours. Only you can decide whether the prisoners of the mountain will be freed or left in chains forever. Will you use your magic sword to battle the monsters that guard the mountain secrets? Will you try to rescue the prisoners who must mine the mountain or die? Or will you run down the mist-shrouded staircase into the unknown? Will your choices bring peace again to the Mountain of Mirrors? Now, I'm not going to read the Endless Quest book bit right there. That's the same on all of them for each one, but there's Mountain of Mirrors. It is a sweet blue cover, yes. Now, I wanted more copies of this one, Pillars of Pentagon, because I actually had Revenge of the Rainbow Dragons, which is a sequel to this one first, but the same characters are in this one that are in book 6. So if we do this one, we might, if we have time, we might do both if somebody votes for them. Votes for one of them. But we'll see. We'll see what we want to do. Okay, so Pillars of Pentagon. You are Jamie, a young villager with a love for the enchanted forest that everyone else fears. Will you find the secret power that now rules Castle Pentagon? The paths you may take beyond the pillars are many, and the choices are yours. Only you can decide whether the wizard Pentagon regains his kingdom. Will you fight the dragon skeleton with the brave fighter Baltic at your side? Will you try to trick the evil master whose slaves control Castle Pentagon? Or will you run down a passage into the unknown, followed by the lovely elven thief Lydia? Will your choices halt the rule of evil in the Pillars of Pentagon? Now you're going to have to buy all these, waiting for what I know I had. Spyticks. Yeah, I agree. I still want all those, all the ones I don't have, but I haven't really actively tried to acquire these since the 90s. So I don't know how easy they would be to find or not, but they might be out there. I'm sure they are. We got book 4, Return to Brookmere, and like Mountain of Mirrors, I've got 2 of these. So we'll read the newer one if I could clear my sinuses today with my asthma. Yeah, okay. It's hard to find good luck. Hello, it's Mr. Shadow. Welcome to the show. Well, here is Return to Brookmere. This one is, you're Brian, an elven fighter on a scouting mission for your father, the king. Can you destroy the monsters that invaded Castle Brookmere, your family castle? The paths you may take through Brookmere are many, and the choices are yours. Only you can decide whether you find truth or disaster. Will you fight the monsters that rush you from the dark castle corridors? Will you try to trick the evil were-rat ruler who controls Castle Brookmere? Or will you run down another corridor into the unknown? Will your choices let you find a way to return to Brookmere? Oh, you're welcome. It's Mr. Shadow. Welcome to the show again. Return to Brookmere. A lot of this stuff comes out when you design games and stuff years later. There's an amulet list that's really cool. It's an intelligent device that talks to the main character through the whole thing. Brian or Brion, however you want to pronounce it. That's half the fun too. Learning how people pronounce different names and stuff that they come up with. Let me see. Spinetick says it's not a good day if you don't have something arrive from eBay. I wish that were true for me. That would be a lot of not good days, sir. Oh, Revolt of the Dwarves is book 5. Now, this is one of the older copies, and the only number it has on it is on the side. Most of them have them on the front like this later on, but the first few they came out with, they had these different covers, and you can live through me. I guess so, Spyticks. That works for me too. Okay, now I really like this cover, and oddly enough, I'm a big dwarf fan, but this book I hadn't read that often. Let's see what it says here on the back. You must save the kingdom. Your family is captured by the dwarven warriors who have just begun their revolt against human rule. You managed to escape, but they are searching everywhere for you to keep from spreading the word. What will you do? The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours. Will you travel down the dangerous river of dragons, knowing that magical monsters live on and guard its banks? Will you enter the enchanted forest and enlist the aid of the pixies in saving the kingdom? Or will you tackle the dwarves in their own dark caves and try to rescue your parents before warning the kingdom? Remember, only you could stop the revolt of the dwarves. Now, that's probably why, because it sounds to me like the dwarves are the bad guys in this. And I would say, since this came out really early on in TSR, a little bit of dust there, but I would say that's probably Durgar or something to that effect, which is fine. Okay, now I have 2 of Revenge of the Rainbow Dragons, and I read these bad boys until they, not as much as I read Dungeon of Dread, I gotta say, but I remember reading these a lot. I think at first I only had Dungeon of Dread and Revenge of the Rainbow Dragons. Let's see. It's Mr. Shadow says, I adore all these covers. The D&D staff artists hit a sweet spot for me. I agree. Spinetick says, I love the Durgar. Liked how they were in Salvatore's books. Me too. I read a lot of Salvatore's books. One of my favorites was Thousand Orcs. Let's see here. You have been tricked. Forced into a duel of wizards at the mysterious Rainbow Castle. You are magically separated from your teacher and grandfather, Pentagard, who battles for his life against 3 evil wizards. You must get him back. You must get back to him. The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours, of course. Will you be thrust into limbo and be forced to explore the misty cloud castle and meet giant rainbow dragons? Will you go into the dungeons and fight the strange monsters of the lower regions? Or will you venture up into the highest towers of Rainbow Castle and be forced to overcome the magical traps that the evil wizards have set for you and your friends? Action and adventure are yours in every Endless Quest book, of course. Remember, only your choices can help bring about the revenge of the Rainbow Dragons. Now, like I said, this is one of my first ones I ever got, and I read this a lot. Love this one. And it took me a while to acquire the Pillars of Pentagard, but this was actually a sequel to this. And I think that's the only one in the series that was like that had a sequel to it. It was really cool. Now we enter a little bit of a different foray. And all of these have been by the same author, Rose Estes, up to this point. Now this is for the Top Secret game and not D&D, but they did a few of these too. So in this one, for the hero of Washington Square, your life is in danger. You are pursued by a gang of cutthroat spies who will stop at nothing to gain the secret of nuclear weaponry. The mysterious green diamonds you have been entrusted with seem to hold the missing key they are after. What will you do? The perils you face are many, and the choices are yours. Will you attempt on your own to rescue Sam Brock, who has been kidnapped by the spies to discover his secret source of uranium? Or will you enlist the aid of your friends Pigeon Mary and Bagel Ben to thwart the gang's plans? And if you succeed, you will have earned the title Hero of Washington Square. There's some interesting names here. Pigeon Mary and Bagel Ben. Those sound like some pretty fun companions. Now, I did read this one, but I had never gotten to play Top Secret. I have said before that I made a character for that game, but never actually got to play. So this is the only experience with Top Secret I really have, other than making that one character. Excuse me for my sinuses today, guys. Okay, let's see here. Then we get into A Star from Tears. And this is the first one by a different author. This is by Gene Blashfield, and we're talking Villains of Ulternus. Alone on a strange planet with only your electronic compupal, Ting, you must face the deadly dangers of the mystery planet Volturnus. What will you do? The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours. Will you seek help from Arnla and her strange tribe of 9 tentacled Novuses? That's a word, Novuses. It must be a type of alien race. Let's see. Spinetick says, I remember Top Secret, never played. That's kind of where I'm at. We played lots of Top Secret, says Cody. I had no idea they made endless quest books for it. I'm pretty sure that's the only one, unfortunately. They may have one more, but yeah, they do. That's right. I've got that one too. Okay, so let's do that one a little bit better here. Will you seek help from Arnla and her strange tribe of 9 tentacles Novuses in thwarting the plot of the worm-like Sathar to exploit the planet's vast mineral wealth? Will you seek out Jack, your 8-legged Rusk tutor, and use the amazing time machine you discovered to battle the evil space pirates? Or will you be captured by agents of the evil Sethar and be held for ransom in the strange, beautiful underground kingdom of Iorna? Remember, only your choices can help foil the villains of Volturnus. Now, I like these Star Frontiers Endless Quest books, but I never did get to play Star Frontiers. In fact, I never even could find it in my book and hobby stores where I was as a teenager at the time. And then years later, I was so into 8082nd edition that I just didn't even. I don't think they even had it around anymore. Let me see here. Cody says, digging the 90s TSR logo. Yes, sir. Very small in these ones, but let me see if I can get one. It's a little better. But yeah, it's there. Yes, it brings back nostalgia, that's for sure. Let me see. Spine6 says, messy food is here. We'll be listening and we'll return to typing after enjoying the content. Let's see. No on your StreamYard. Really? It's not working? Let me see if I can fix that. That makes no sense, but I will look, sir. Let's go to... here we go. Yep, took me right in, sir. So the link should be there in the Fridays from the Hilt Players Bullpen in the Lenhar Adventures Guild lag. Let's see. No, it's working the logo on the stream. Oh, you're right, sir. It is. Oh, yeah, the TSR logo up here. Sorry, dude, I totally missed what you meant. Yeah, this I can switch it because I pay the to the next tier. I think it's worth it for all the live streams that I do on my channel. So that's where I am with that. We get back to some D&D books here, or do we? Nope, we didn't do this one. I looked at the logo and then put it right down. Well, so we got to look at this one. Robbers and Robots is the other top secret one. So let's see what this one is. Pick a path to adventure. Spies, robots, and mystery. Spies are out to steal technological secrets from your uncle's robot factory, and it's up to you to stop them. What will you do? The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours. Will you follow the spies to their hideout in an attempt to fight the men who would stop at nothing to ensure the success of their evil mission? Or will you attempt to use your incredible robot to stop them? Remember, only you can solve the case of the robbers and robots. Yeah, sorry about that, Cody. He threw me off a little bit. That's okay. Let's see. Circus of Fear. Now we're back to D&D. Let's see. You know too much. That's the way this one starts out. You learn that a cruel circus owner plans to take over the country. Somehow you must get away and expose his scheme. What will you do? Will you tell the animal trainer, even though he can turn his menagerie of ferocious beasts loose on you? Will you tell the animal trainer? Yes. Will you tell your story to the boastful trapeze artist who holds your life in his hands high above the center ring? Or will you seek help from the sideshow freaks who want to turn you into a living mummy? Remember, only your choices can save the kingdom from the Circus of Fear. Okay. Now this one, some of them I had when I had a garage for a while, and I had my books, everything I had out in the garage, and it got some water damage on some of them. So this one, I won't be able to read the back, but let me see what I can find inside for the Spell of the Winter Wizard. Let's see. It says, you pursued by man-eating beast. You are Omina, stepchild of the great wizard Alcazar, and your efforts to rescue your stepfather and free your land from the icy spell of Warzin, the Winter Wizard, have led you straight into danger. Pursued by vicious man-eating quag beasts, you have taken refuge atop a snowy dune beside a clear pond. One of the huge-headed beasts is so close you could feel its foul breath hot on your skin. You must do something immediately. And then it gives you page options to turn to, but that's just a little bit at the beginning. It gets into more later on this one. This one I had a lot of fun with. I remember that. Okay, hey, now we get into something completely different. Gamma World, Light on Quest Mountain. Welcome to the future. On an Earth made hostile by nuclear war, you and your tribe live a primitive, danger-filled existence. Now you must prove your readiness for adulthood by undertaking a perilous quest. Your task is to discover the source of the mysterious light atop Quest Mountain. What will you do? The perils you face are many and the choices are yours. Will you journey through the burning sandlands, risking your life against meandering desert beasts and uncontrolled machines of the ancients? Or will your quest lead through the weird, mutated forest, lurking dangers of the dreaded green lands? And if your quest is successful, you will discover the startling source of the light on Quest Mountain. There you go, Cody. I have never played Gamma World. This is my only experience with it, and I don't really remember this book that well because this was the last one I acquired. And I was so happy to get it because it completed my my run of the first 12. So it was kind of nice. So, Light on Quest Mountain. That's your vote to read without a doubt. Okay. Well, that was half of what I have. Like I said, I'm missing 14. And then I have a couple of the new ones too. So you have number 13. So I have 1 through 18, and that's when I start not having them. But there's a reason for that. And I'm going to go over the actual list of all of the Endless Quest books so you guys know what I'm missing, so you guys can know what to get for yourselves if you wish to collect Endless Quest. Which, if I could find the rest of these books, I'd be a happy man. But every time I see books at a yard sale or something, I look for Endless Quest books, but I never see them. Because like me, I'm sure there are a lot of other people who read them want to keep their Endless Quest books. Okay, Dragon of Doom is by Rose Estes. She's back. Only you can save the world. The evil magic user Zed has a powerful, forbidden spell to summon forth the mighty Shen, the dreaded Black Dragon of Doom. Unless you can do something to stop him, Zed will turn Shen loose on the world to spread death and destruction wherever he goes. The perils you face are many, and the choices are yours. Will you follow Zed to the desolate end of the world and try to prevent his sinister rendezvous with the Dragon of Doom? Or will you instead proceed to the fabled Dragon Castle and attempt to foil Zed's evil plan? And if your efforts are successful, you will have saved the entire world from the Dragon of Doom. All right. Number 14, Catherine McGuire. You know what? I stopped telling you who the names of the authors were back here. When we hit the top secret book, that was Rose Estes, same as Dragon of Doom. Let me see, because authors help sometimes for some people. Jean or Jean Blashfield, Villains of Alternus. I will go. I'm guessing Jean. Mike Carr did Robbers and Robots. Rose Estes again on Circus of Fear. Linda Lowry on Spell of the Winter Wizard. And Mary L. Kirchhoff and James M. Ward again on Light on Quest Mountain. Okay. Now this one's by, like I said, Catherine McGuire, Raid on Nightmare Castle. I remember really enjoying this one. Assignment, Nightmare Castle. You are Keol, a young cleric about to set off on an important mission to dreaded Nightmare Castle. Will you be able to defeat the evil warlord Rorless and rescue his captive, the brave elven ruler Estragon? The paths you may take are many, and the choices are yours. Will you enlist the aid of the great magician Kanos, even though his powers have been diminished through injury? Or will you take the magical jewel of Kabak he offers you, knowing that you may not have the courage to use its mind-destroying power against the monsters that guard the castle? And if all goes well, you will bring to a successful conclusion the raid on Nightmare Castle. All right. What are we at here? Under Dragon's Wing was one of the later ones I got. I know I've read all of these. They're kind of running together. And this one, Does have some damage on the back too, so I will try to read around that. The legions of the evil Crimson Wizard are besieging the wall that protects your home with the help of your magician and ancient sorcery book. It is up to you to stop them. But will these aids help? Will these aids be helpful? I'm not really sure. I'm kind of guessing what it says. You're about to enter the world and be an experience of the player that other players experience of Dungeons and Dragons. Are you brave enough to meet its challenges? And this basically does a bunch of endless quest books anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I wonder if they did that on the rest of them. Nope, they got some other stuff, but yeah, they do have a longer spiel on these newer covers. This is by John Kendall. And this, I do like this cover. Okay. Dragon's Ransom. I know I read this one a lot. This one was a lot of fun by Laura French. Let's see. You have been honored by being chosen treasure seeker to raise the ransom that must be paid to the golden dragon who stands guard over the land of Ood. But first you must face danger from fierce orcs, trolls, hobgoblins, and what else? Remember, only your choices can lead to success in an endless quest book. Yeah, most of it now, these newer ones is just the same stuff, but we can get the gist of it, I guess. All right. Number 17 is Captive Planet, another Star Frontiers adventure by Morris Simon. This one says, you are honored to be chosen because of your computer wizardry to accompany the famous Unit 5 crew on their mission to the remote planet of New Pale. Well, the mission may become more than you bargained for when you learn the evil Sathar are the force behind problems on the troubled planet. Hey, these guys were in the other Star Frontiers book. So maybe this is a sequel. I don't know. And maybe that's just a common bad guy in the old Star Frontiers. Oh, yeah. King's Quest, number 18. For the longest time, that was all I had was these ones, except for Light on Quest Mountain, which is the last one I got. That's the one Cody has got his vote for, so I'll set that one aside, Cody. We'll keep that one out. All right, let's see what we got here. For King's Quest by Tom McGowan. The map given to you by the dying stranger may lead to treasure, but not before you encounter many dreaded creatures. But you gave your word to fulfill your quest. Now, I remember this. I'm pretty sure you're playing this boy, but this Viking warrior can pretty much be with you through the whole book. I remember this was fun, too. All right. Now, some of these later ones, the covers were really sweet. I mean, they really got into a lot of it. This is a Jeff Easley for sure. And the author is Bruce Algazin. He wrote quite a few of these later ones. Let me see. Lair of the Lich. The secret spellbook of your father, the most powerful wizard in the land, has been stolen by a foul lich and spirited away to the undead creature's castle stronghold. There may be no stopping the lich's plans to use the spellbook for its own evil purposes. Yet you know you must try. But will even your mysterious, newfound psionic powers be enough? This was the only experience with psionics that I ever enjoyed. It was just the way they described how it worked in here, just like the old first edition stuff, and not like what they did in the second edition. So this was kind of cool, and it actually showed psionics in a new light for me, because I only know the second edition stuff, but the stuff they had in here was kind of neat. Tower of Darkness by Regina Oller-Fultz. Now this one, I got a lot of damage, so I'll see what I can get out of the front here. Excuse me. High in the diabolical Tower of Darkness, you and your friend Derek are exploring a dark chamber. Suddenly, the carpet you are standing on begins to move. Before you realize what is happening, you are swept out of the castle. As you are lifted high into the night sky, you see the carpet will be over the tower roof in seconds. You might be able to jump for it, but it's a long way to the ground if you should miss. Do you dare to attempt to leap to safety? Tower of Darkness. Still watching and enjoying lots of Mexican food in my hands. Hard to type. I get you, sir. I had tacos the day before yesterday. Okay. Now, let me see. After 18, I didn't have them in a row anymore. So I forgot to give you guys the numbers. This was 27. And then, Lair of the Lich was 27. And then Tower of Darkness was 29. And this one is 32, Prisoner of Elderwood. So that's when I really started missing him. Prisoner of Elderwood is, hey, Kate, welcome. The Serene, I know her as Kate. She's one of my gamers, and she's also a Fridays from the Hill player. Welcome to the show. And you made curry yesterday. Yeah, I haven't had curry in a while. I love curry. So, Prisoner of Elderwood, we got imprisoned by conquering King Craddock. You, Redmond Longbow, are forced to strike a strange bargain with the evil king. If you are successful, you will gain not only your own freedom, but that of your oppressed countrymen. But if you fail, you will meet your doom in the depths of the enchanted forest of Elderwood. Okay, that was another one by Bruce Algazin. This one is number 34. And this one got damage on both the cover and the back. But I think I can get the gist out of the little bit of damage on the back of this one. This is the Dragon of the Claw of the Dragon. If I can read properly. No one knows why the fearsome dragon, I can't read that word. Launching nightly raids, that's probably bandits or something. No one that is until you know what? Let's look at what we got inside instead of trying to figure out what's written on the back. Don't know what I was thinking, guys. Your quest to prevent the outbreak of war with the dragons has led you to a huge cavern deep inside a mountain. You and your leprechaun friend, Finn, having made your way across a rickety rope bridge. I almost went to an Irish accent. Sorry, guys. Leading across a yawning chasm, now shout encouragement to your brother Barnaby as he carefully crosses hand over hand. Suddenly you hear a heavy thud behind you and turn quickly. Something's coming, something big, Finn shouts. Oh, that's where I should have done the Irish accent. Something's coming, something's big, Finn shouts excitedly. Quick, lad, hide! Sorry, my Irish accent isn't great, so. At the very second, the hand rope supporting Barnaby snaps and he swings down toward the chasm. While at breakneck speed, you hurry to the ledge and look down. 80 feet below, you see your brother dangling helplessly, his arm tangled in the rope. Now, Claw of the Dragon, I remember this was fun. And that was the last of the original ones I had. But then I got, these two are both by the same author, Gene Rabe. And they weren't numbered, although they did come out, and I put numbers on them in the order on my checklist that we're about to look at. But Secret of the Djinn, this one actually has a pretty decent synopsis, it looks like. So, enter the land of fate. Al-Qadim, Zakara. You are a young pearl diver who is propelled into an amazing adventure when you uncork an old bottle you discover at the bottom of the sea. You are whisked far from your home in Zakara, the land of fate, on a magical quest to free the king of the sea djinn. There are many decisions you must make along the way. You are courageous and clever, but can you hope to overcome the dangers that lie before you? Riches and fame could be yours if you choose the correct path. So this was our attempt to do Endless Quest books again in the 90s for during second edition. All these other ones were during, I'm pretty sure, first edition. Let me look here. They did a lot of them, so it's hard to say. But this one came out in 1986. So yeah, all of these were first edition. So like I said, they did try during AD&D second edition to do some. And I remember these were kind of fun. Night of the Tiger, I really loved. Again, by Gene Rabe, if that's how you pronounce their name. You are hunted in the dark land of Ravenloft. Night brings terror, and on the island of Sri Raji, night also brings forth ferocious tigers, minions of an evil lord. Barandi, a young apprentice wizard, must confront the powerful lord who has placed a terrible curse on the land. With the aid of a giant talking raven, the young wizard must unleash the magic of a powerful ring to remove the curse and save the village from its dire fate. That one actually, I remember reading that, was a lot of fun. And I actually got through these a lot faster than I thought I would. But that's cool. We got some good covers. But Big Boom's come in little packages. I mean, it looks kind of small compared to when I was looking at my AD&D books and my D&D books. But let's take a look at this here. Now, I am missing, if I can jump over here to my screen here, I am missing Conan the Undaunted, which is 19, book 20, Conan and the Prophecy. Both these Conan books. There were 3 Conan books. I never saw those. I have looked those up, and I do have them on my wish list on Amazon, but they're pretty expensive. Book 21 was Duel of the Masters. Book 22, The Endless Catacombs. 23 was Blade of the Young Samurai. 24 is Trouble on Our Tool. That sounds like a Star Frontiers book. Looks like they had a Tarzan one for 26. The other Conan was 25. Tarzan of the Well of Slaves. I got Lair of the Lich. Mystery of the Ancients. Then I have Tower of Darkness. And there was the Fire Seed. Another Tarzan one. And it was Tarzan of the Tower of Diamonds. I have Prisoner of Elderwood. Night of Illusion. That actually sounds kind of cool. I have Claw of the Dragon. Then we have Vision of Doom. Song of the Dark Druid. And then this is where they did the second edition ones. And I put numbers to them because I like to have things organized. They had Dungeon of Fear, which probably is a callback to Dungeon of Dread for the very first Endless Quest book. Then you got Castle of the Undead. I have Secret of the Jinn, Siege of the Tower, A Wild Ride, Forest of Darkness, American Knights. Then you got Night of the Tiger, Galactic Challenge, Big Beast Curse, The 24-Hour War, The Test. These two were never released. The Test and Sands of Deception. I put them on my list because I probably figured that maybe if they were out there, I could probably pick them up. So, yes, spreadsheet, my old spreadsheet. I like to do a lot of lists that way, but that's just me. Okay, so should we go over one more time, or are you guys good to vote on which one we want to read? I know Cody's already cast his vote. So, what you guys want to do? Should we read Dungeon of Dread? Mountain of Mirrors. Pillars of Pentagon. Return to Bookmere. Revolt of the Dwarves. Oh, Spinetix is saying I'm going with Cody. Okay, I don't know if Kate's still around, but you'll cast your vote here pretty soon. It looks like we're just going to go with that. I was kind of wanting to read this one too, guys. All right. You get a drink, and we'll read. I think that was pretty good. So the Serene says, let's see, we got Cody says, hell yes, Gamma World, baby. That's my vote to read without a doubt. Spinetick says, I'll go with Cody. And the Serene says, that sounds good. So, and since I was kind of wanting to go for it, sounds like that's good too. Have I looked into the Valaverse figures like Joe? Yes, I have. But with my very limited budget, I had to make a choice, and I'm pretty loyal to G.I. Joe. So, although those Valaverse figures are sweet, and I was going to pick up a Sergeant Slaughter until they put one out for G.I. Joe, and I managed to pick up my Sergeant Slaughter. So, I may get some of those if I ever have the funds, but at the moment I don't. So, there we go. You guys have any other questions or anything before we jump into this? You have one on the way, but you'll be getting mostly Joe. Yeah, I get you. If I had the money, I would be getting all of them too. They put out an entire wave of female figures for the Valaverse that was just pretty cool. So yeah. Okay. Let's dive in here. Light on Quest Mountain by Mary L. Kirchhoff and James L. Ward, a Gamma World adventure. Oh wow, that is a Keith Parkinson cover. If I can get a decent one going there. I like Keith Parkinson. He's one of the better old school artists that they had. And the interior art is by Steve McAfee. First picture they have here is this one. Now, if you guys really enjoy this, I might just do some more of these. Okay. He's actually they got a dedication in here. It says, "To England, the land for which the best within us springs." Okay. I'll give him that one. Everybody seems to like the land of their birth. Okay. You must survive in a devastated world. In Light on Quest Mountain, you are Ren, a young boy living in a possible world of the future. In this world, man has been forced to live much as he did when spears and survival were a way of life. The people of this primitive society are both helped, and confused by the remnants they find of a civilization far more advanced than inhabitants of the 20th century can imagine. You love how they say that. Far more than we can imagine. I can imagine a lot myself. Legend says that long ago, so long that no one you as Ren was living then. Terrible war swept the civilized world, leaving vast wastelands where no man can live. Looks like we're Ren. Before the wars began, man was ruler of the earth. But one result of these terrible wars was that creatures rose from the ashes of the bombs. The genes of the earth's animals and plants were altered until strange new creatures arose. Creatures of awesome power and fierceness and often great intelligence. A courageous member of your village has returned from the far north to boast of an intelligent race of lizards, which is starting to build its own civilization. 2 members of a 15-member Southlands expedition have returned with evidence that huge machines are building a city from the ashes of an old one. Robots function in a way no man ever put into their circuits. Villages like yours have sprung up in areas like least damaged by the wars. Man no longer rules. He must share the land. With caution and luck, he exists. Okay, that is our setting. That's it. No more school, shouts Chark, bounding out of the brick and thatch building that serves as your school. I'm almost sorry to see it end, says Sars. Slowly, I think I'll ask Meryl if I might work as a teacher's apprentice. All I can think about is beginning our quest tomorrow, you say. You are Ren, youngest son of the chief of the village of New Hope. Tomorrow, you and your 2 friends begin the journey that every graduate of the school must face. You must venture to Quest Mountain and face whatever dangers you encounter. Only then will you overcome your fears and be accepted as adult members of your village. You, Sars, and Chark will have an important additional purpose on your quest. Recently, villagers have spotted a strange light atop Quest Mountain. The village elders have asked you to try to determine the source of that light. They sure don't waste any time with having us leave the very day after we graduate, Chark says dryly. No point in prolonging the inevitable, says Sars. Always the reasonable one. Why does he have to talk that way, Chark asks you. You sigh, ignoring the question. Chark really expects no answer. Teasing each other is a game your 2 friends have always played. Fortunately, it is just a game. You glance at your tall friend, although Sars' scaly skin and features are those of a lizard. He walks like a man, and his hands and mind function as well as a human's. You've learned to take his slow, delivered speech seriously, since he often notices things that others don't. SARS wears his glasses, rare in your world, with pride. But they don't prevent his terrible fear of darkness. You know that he will have to try to conquer this fear if your quest is to be a success. Your eyes straight at Chark, and you think how different your monkey friend is from SARS. Skinny, hairy Chark seldom thinks things through as SARS does. Chark has led you and SARS on many a merry adventure. But you hope he'll be more careful on your quest. Even more, you hope he'll be able to overcome his deep fear of water. Not very big, Kate. I mean, we're talking 155 pages, really. We're talking little stuff. Probably, but we don't read the whole thing. We just read the parts that are pertinent to the story that we choose. That's what's cool about Endless Quest books. Sorry if I get a little choked up, guys. Like I said, it's been one of those days that just, I knew I was coming on, and of course my nose had to, and my sinuses decided because of my asthma that today, that's when they were going to give me problems. Okay, Kate, I know it sounds fun. That's why I wanted to do one of these. All right, here we go. You find it hard to admit, but you are nervous at the thought of your upcoming quest. You will be the leader, and you fear making a wrong decision that might risk the lives of your friends. You come from a family of great leaders, and you wonder if you can live up to them. Your thoughts turn to Jor, your closest brother, who was to have succeeded your father as chief. The entire village mourned when he went to the desert on his quest and never returned. With a strong effort, you snap your mind to the present. Go home, you two, and check your gear once more. We'll meet in the village square early tomorrow morning, you say as you start to leave. You awaken to a bright, clear morning. You check your gear one last time, hug your sisters, and set off for the square with your parents. A crowd of well-wishers has gathered there to send the three of you off on your quest. Your father claps his hands, and everyone falls silent. As you all know, it is our custom to send our young graduates to Quest Mountain before becoming adult members of our village. It is also our custom to present each young person departing on a quest with a special gift. Ren, SARS, Chark, these fine metal spears are given to you in the hope that they will serve you well on your journey. One by one you examine your spears, wonderingly, as they are presented. Spears with metal heads are rare enough in the village, but weapons made entirely of metal are very special indeed. Each of you mumbles his thanks with a promise to try to be worthy of such an extraordinary gift. SAR's mother hugs him impulsively, and he blushes deeply, his green skin turning murky brown. Your father speaks once more. Go now, young ones. Return to us as proud men. With the words of your father ringing in your ears, you set off for the main gate of the village. Once outside the village, the three of you pause to talk over your plans. You've discussed your quest many times, but even now, at the last minute, you're still debating your last course of action. I say we head straight north from the mountain, says Chark. Chark, you know the great northern wastelands stretch between our village and Quest Mountain, and you know that no one has entered the wastelands you know that no one who has entered the wastelands has ever returned. SARS reminds him. SARS is right, you say. We must go around the wastelands. But which way? Asked Chark. If we head east, we must pass through the sandlands. The dunes of the sandlands conceal many hidden dangers. If we head west, we must travel through the greenlands. Fearsome creatures are said to inhabit the forests and foothills of the Greenlands. Ren, didn't your brother Jor head through the desert? SARS asked. He said he was going to, but we don't really know for sure. Chark fidgets. The trail through the Greenlands is shorter. Let's go that way. But it might be interesting to retrace Jor's steps, SARS says thoughtfully. Perhaps, you say, trying to weigh the advantages of each route. Straight ahead, dust and decayed bones mark the beginning of the great northern wasteland. To the west, you see the leafy roof of the dangerous Greenlands. Turning to the east, you face the perilous Sandlands, the path your brother followed. It is time to decide. Which way will you lead your friends? Number 1, if you decide to journey through the Sandlands to reach your destination, turn to page 28. If you would rather travel through the Greenlands to reach the mountain, turn to page 51. Now, the way I used to read these, I would hold my finger in the place where I made a choice, And if I died, I'd go back and make another choice. So that's kind of what we're going to do, unless you guys have an objection. So what are we going to do here? Let's see. If you want to journey through the sands, just put sands in there in the chat. If you want to go to the greenlands, just put green. So sands or green. What do you guys think? I'll give you some time. I need a drink anyway. And of course, take care of the nature. Greenland, and I say let the choices fall as they may. Okay, all right, I'm good with that. We'll see what everybody else says. But I'm good with the Greenlands, Cody. Serene says the Greenlands are always the best place to start a quest. All right, so I think we've still got Spine Ticks around, so we'll give him a moment to chime in too. But if he doesn't, we'll go with the Greenlands because he's already outvoted. Yeah, this is kind of the fun part with dealing with just the chat and stuff. I've watched Old Geek a few times do shows like this, and sometimes it takes a while for him to get all his responses back in, but I guess Spine Ticks is either not with us anymore or he's good with the Greenlands too. So, and I guess are you good with let the choices fall as they may, Kate? Because I'm good with that. I'll get us to page 51. Oh, there he is. Hey, Spine Ticks. Looks like we're going to the Greenlands on the first choice there, buddy. 51. Now, if there are any choices, then I mean not choices. If there are any pictures, I'll show them off to you that we come to, just as if you were reading along with me. Spike says his messy food is done, and he says he'll go with the group. Okay. Our quest is to reach the top of Quest Mountain and find the cause of the light. We should take the shortest, quickest route, SARS and Chark nod, and you turn towards the west, hoping you have made a good decision. You come to a narrow path bordered by thick brush. It is still early. The sun glows in a vivid blue sky above the Greenlands. It's been a long time since I've seen a sky that blue, SARS says. Chark, always eager to hurry, skips ahead of you and SARS. You watch a moment, then call hesitantly. Chark, I think you'd better stay closer to us. You know how dangerous the Greenlands are. You are finding it difficult to start acting like the one in charge, but you must if all three of you are to achieve your quest and return safely. I'm all right, Chark grumbles. You two walk so slow. Let's get going. We want to get there as badly as you do, Chark, but we've got to be careful. This is a dangerous world, and we've got to protect each other. Chark glances back at you, his feet straying slightly from the path. Oh, all right, he concedes reluctantly. Suddenly, a blindingly bright light flashes in your eyes. You stand perfectly still, and the light gradually fades. For several moments, all you can see is the lingering images of the white flash. Momentarily blinded by the light, Chark stumbles off the path once more. Once again, the light flashes. What's going on? Where's that light coming from? Asks Chark. Nobody move, you command. Both times the light flashed, Chark had stumbled off the path, SARS says. As his eyes clear, he turns to look at the narrow band of red grass edging the path. Look at these blackened spots, he continues, pointing with a scaly finger to the ground beside the path. Those are my footprints, gasped Chark. Exactly. If anyone steps off the path here, the light flashes, SARS says. It seems to be nature's way of protecting the forest. Closing your eyes, you test SAR's theory by stepping off of the path onto the grass. Once again, the light flashes. You heave a sigh of relief and begin to walk on with your friends safely on the path in front of you. All at once, for no apparent reason, your friends stop and begin to flail their arms about wildly. What are you doing? You ask in astonishment. Then you see it. They've walked straight into a huge gossamer-thin web that stretches across the path. And crashing out of some bushes on the left is a gigantic spider. Hi, Victor. Welcome to the party. We're not really doing a party. We're just doing a reading, so it's all good. Spine says hello. Okay. Well, what we've done so far, sir, is we've left the village in a Gamma World adventure called Light on Quest Mountain, and we took the Greenlands over the desert. So we went into the forest. There was there was a path, and off the path, if you left the path, the light would flash on the mountain. And so they decided to stick with the path, and then your two companions step into a web. And everybody's saying hello. That's always nice. And we got the Serene in here too. Victor, I don't know if you met Kate, but she's one of my regular crew on Fridays from the Hilt. She's been on there a few times, and she's in 2 of my games now. So she's one of my players. And she's also a pretty good author too. So, okay. I'm going to show you this picture before I read you the last part here. They're caught in a web, SARS and Chark. What will we do? And I'm pretty sure that's all we have in the chat. I'm not, from StreamYards, it's only telling me there's 2 people, but clearly there's a few more than that, so we're all good. Okay. The Chark and SARS. Yeah, I imagine Chark is a little monkey man, but SARS, I guess he's kind of like a lizard man. They were talking about a lizard man village nearby, so maybe. Okay, you hear a sound behind you. Turning, you see a metal robot coming down the path straight towards you. As you wonder what to do, a hole opens in the robot's side. A long, thin metal pipe snakes out and sends a jet of green fluid right at you. You dive for cover as the fluid flies over you and hits the spider. Shaken, you turn to watch as the spider lets out a shriek, curls its hairy limbs close about its body, and drops to the ground in a crumpled heap. Scrambling to your feet, you turn toward the robot. The pipe has gone back into its body, and the robot is motionless. It almost seems to be waiting for something. With the danger from that direction apparently past, you turn and rush to your friends and begin hacking at the sticky web with your spear. Hurry, Red, urges Chark. That robot might decide to come after us. I don't think it will, you're not sure why, but you don't think that thing of the ancients means you any harm. Let me see here. Oh, sorry, I just did these out of order. You're a fan of the Lizardmen, clearly. Victor says, hello. And we got Cody saying, I always played a raccoon mutant in Gamma World. You know, that would be fun. We actually, in our Linharo game, you can play a raccoon man. So raccoon men are pretty fun to play, that's for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. You finally succeed in freeing your friends from their net-like prison. Chark's hair is matted with bits of the web, and SAR's glasses are gray with the sticky coating. Boy, that was close, Chark exclaims. If it weren't for that, he stops suddenly. What's that written on the front of the robot? SARS quickly cleans his glasses and goes over to the robot. Peering intently, he says, I don't know what this writing means. I'm going to copy it and study it later. Maybe one of the elders will know. He pulls writing equipment from his pack and scribbles on the scribbles the symbols. He spells out, I'm not going to do this one letter at a time, but he spells out ecology bot, Orchid division. A shaft of sunlight breaks through the thick trees and falls on the robot. Suddenly it starts to whir, then slowly begins to lift off the ground. It's flying, Chark exclaims. Let's follow it. Maybe it's going to its home base. It seems to be dangerous. Perhaps we should just continue on towards the mountain, SARS suggests. Okay, so now we're out of choice again, guys. If you wish to follow the robot, turn to page 48. If you think you should continue on towards the mountain, turn to page 102, which would be my choice if I have to break a tie, just because it's 102. So what do you guys think? We got follow the robot or continue on toward the mountain. Gives me time to get another drink. Full disclosure, just Dr. Pepper Zero. I'm not into alcohol, so. Okay, we got 1 for follow that robot. Now we got 2 for follow that robot. So, what you guys think, Kate and Spine 6? Robot, Spine Ticks. So that's unanimous. Okay, we'll go that way. I think follow the robot would probably be a death sentence. On for the mountains. Oh, so we got 1, but the group has decided to follow that robot. Just you and me, Kate. Sorry. So we're turning to page 48, which is back. Ooh, we got a picture. Gonna follow that robot. Kind of looks sort of like a Dalek in some ways from Doctor Who. I don't know if I'd want to follow that, but here we go. You know that you probably ought to continue on toward the mountain, but deep down inside you really want to know where the flying robot is going. Let's follow the robot, you say. It probably won't hurt us. Hurry, it's getting away, Chark hollers over his shoulder as he scurries after the robot. Fortunately, the course of the robot is so low and so erratic that it cuts a winding path for you to follow through the heavy underbrush. After some time, Sars says, "We're certainly not heading in a straight line, but we are finally moving up the mountain. I've noticed that the vegetation changes with elevation." "Why can't you just say the plants have changed?" Chark asks irritably. Then he shouts, "Look, a stream!" and dashes ahead. You hear the sound of rushing water as you follow Chark to a wide, swift stream. Yeah, it is funny. Just a quick like and hello. One love from Chicago. Thanks, Chicago Schulte. Sorry. I'll get it down yet, sir. Okay. You hear the sound of rushing water as you follow Chark to a wide, swift stream. Yeah, everybody's saying hello. Nice. Okay. As you pause beside the stream, the robot suddenly bursts through the underbrush up ahead, dips, sputters, rises a bit, then plummets toward the water. There's a loud hissing sound as sparks fill the air, and the robot explodes in 1,000 pieces. The 3 of you dive for cover. With a shower of metal ends, you gingerly pick up a chunk. Ouch! You quickly drop it and pop your burned fingers into your mouth. You're relieved to discover the burn is not serious. I think there are peeps now, buddy. Which is good, because I'll be seeing you on Saturday, too. Well, now, where, Red? Asked Chark, hands on his hips. We follow the stream. It's got to lead to the mountaintop eventually. Chark and Sars exchange glances, shrug, and follow you as you move off upstream. The sun is halfway down the sky, and you have walked a long way through difficult terrain before someone speaks again. Do you suppose pieces of that robot could have landed up this far? Asked Sars. I doubt it, you say. Why? Well, I keep seeing metal chunks being swept downstream in the river. I don't think they could be from the robot, you say slowly. I guess not, says Sars, walking on. And then it says, please turn to page 133. Okay. What we got going on here? Yep, I did that one. Okay, got some banger D&D and G.I. Joe stuff to show on Saturday. Sounds good to me, sir. The path suddenly opens into a clearing, and you realize that the river now flows between high walls. Those walls have been built by someone, observed Sars. How straight! You are stopped in mid-word by snarling and growling sounds. Get down, you whisper. Lying on your stomach in the tall grass you watch as 2 strange furry creatures, holding clubs, move towards you along the wall of the dam. They stop abruptly, turn, and walk away from you. Batters, whispers Sars. I remember reading about them. They're mean cusses. What are they doing? Asked Shark. They seem to be guarding something, you say. They must be guarding the river wall, says SARS. Look up the hill. They built another wall, forcing the river to make a loop. But why would they do that? Asked Shark. There must be something there that they want to keep the river away from. You hesitate, then add, let's cross the stream and find out what it is. Howard Tiger and the kids, they're doing good. Thank you. My youngest, Warren, who goes by Red Power Ranger Fan 27, he had a bit of a cold this week, but he's over it. He went back to school today, so it was nice. So I appreciate the shout out. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see, where were we? Very quietly, so as not to attract the attention of the batter guards. You retrace your steps downstream until Chark finds a tree whose branches hang over the stream. Quickly he swings across. You and SARS hold on to the low branches and make your way carefully over wet, slimy rocks in the stream bed. Excuse me. Once on the opposite shore, you look up to see a large pond. And there we go. Large pond. And Victor says, good, thanks. Glad to hear it, sir. Look, you exclaim. They've created a small lake. There's the old riverbed ahead of them. There's the reason they built the dam, says SARS. It's a whole village of batters, you whisper. You drop to your stomach, thankful for the nasty-looking purple bushes that protect you. You peer through the bushes and see a large group of domed huts. Small, furry batters scurry from hut to hut, frequently pausing beside a large fire. Looks like dinner time, sighs Chark, eyeing a batter as it walks away from the fire, chomping on something. I'd like to get a closer look, you say. I can see just fine from here, says Chark. Besides, what if we get caught? But you've already made up your mind. We're going to crawl up to the next row of bushes. Stay low and keep quiet. Okay, he says, but you've already made up your mind, and then you say, we're going to crawl up the next row of bushes. Stay low and keep quiet. Sorry, guys. Without waiting for a response, you scramble forward to the next row of bushes and settle into the grass behind them. As you watch, you note that the sun has fallen farther behind the trees. Now the batters seem to be preparing for the night. You can see large batters hurrying their little ones down ladders into the domes. Look there, off to the right, says Chark, pointing. It looks like a cage. I can't see it, says SARS. It's getting too dark. I can see it, you say. Wait, they're pushing people into the cage. By the way they're being pushed around, I don't think they're there by choice either, says Chark. You continue to watch in silence. Several batters appear to be herding some humanoids into the cage. Suddenly, one of the female prisoners stumbles. As she tries to regain her balance, the batter guard pushes her, sending her sprawling. You are in Gamma World, sir. Welcome, Uncanny Swag. If I remember right, your name is Dave. Now, don't kill me if I got it wrong. Swag, bro. All right. Oh, where were? I lost my place here, guys. Okay. So only one of the female. Yeah, she stumbled. Okay, here we go. A tall, thin man nearby helps her to her feet, then whirls to shout at the batter. Can't you see that she can hardly walk? He spits, towering over the batter. You see his face outlined in the light of the fire, his jaws clenched as he angrily brushes a lock of long red hair from his face. Isn't that, you begin? It is. It's George, Shark shouts. Shh, SARS hisses at him, but it's too late. The batter guard peers into the darkness towards you as you hold every muscle still. But the guard sees nothing and turns his attention back to the red-haired man. With the back of one hand, the batter viciously strikes the man across the face. "That ought to teach you slaves who your masters are," growls the batter. Chin held high, the man continues to glare at the batter for a moment. Then he turns slowly and follows the woman into the cage. The way the man moves rivets your attention. "It's Jor, all right. I'm sure of it," you say excitedly. "But he looks so thin and weak." Okay. Got some laughing going on. We got Dave collects as the stoner bro. And hi, Mr. Spine Ticks. And then Uncanny Swag, thanks for adding to the Mister. Adding the Mister. I agree, sir. Mr. Spine Ticks. Mr. Sith Lordly. Okay, so here's our choices. If you think you should try to rescue your brother right away in case the batters have nasty plans for him, turn to page 138. If you think you should take more time to form a plan, turn to page 21. What do you guys think? Rescue your brother right away or make a plan? See, here we are near the end of the book, Kate, and it may not be near the end of the story. Okay, Victor says 21. So that means form a plan. And Cody says, rush him. So he wants 138. Okay, Uncanny Swag. That's in my contract, Sith. Okay, we got, wow, a plan sounds good, but the brother could die if you don't go fast. That's not a decision, Kate. Sounds good. Which one there, sirs? That's where we're at. We've got one for make a plan, one for run in. One is kind of undecided, and I got a sounds good. So which one is it going to be, guys? You can cast a vote too, Swag. And whoever else is maybe listening. Okay. Okay, Spine Tick says rush in, so that's 2 for rushing in and 3 for rushing in. Sorry, Victor, you got outvoted this time, so looks like we're just turning the page to the very next page. Ooh. Yep. Well, I'm going to cover what's at the bottom, but there's the picture. And here we go. I can't bear to see my brother treated like an animal, you sputter. Let's go. You hold your spirit to ready and charge. Not even sure if Chark and SARS are behind you. You dash blindly to the village around the fire and toward the cage. Instantly, all activity stops. Hundreds of angry red eyes glare at you. Intruders! Voices cry, and dozens of the furry, growling creatures surround you and take away your spear. Yeah, that's about where I am too, Victor. Oh, over the heads of the starling batters, you see your brother pressing anxiously against the front of the cage. Ren, he shouts, is it really you? Jor, you cry. Are you all right? You struggle uselessly against the arms that hold you. So you know each other, eh? Sneers the batter guard. It nods toward the 2 batters holding you. Gritting through pointy teeth, they shove you toward the fire. No, not Ren, you hear Jor scream. Renewing your struggle, you twist one arm free of the batter claws. Jor, we're here too. Yes, I'm going to put this up here before I read that last part. We are screwed. Okay, here we go. Jor, we're here too. Something heavy crashes down on your skull. Numb with pain, you struggle to keep from fainting. Dimly, you hear the slave master snarl. Put him in the cage with the others. And everything fades into blackness. The end, sir. I'm not going the right way here. Here we go. The end. Yep. Okay, now Cody's all for letting the chips fall where they may, but since the other choices on the previous page, if you guys want to go back, we can continue or we can end it here. It's up to you guys. And I got time if you guys want to read another one. Should have went with your first thought, is what Kate says. And waited. Yeah, baby. That was fun. It makes me want to play Gamma World. I do remember reading this once, but I think I died right away. And then, like Cody, went, all right, that's it for me. Victor wants to go back. So that's one for going back, sir. Fantastic. Okay. I agree. This has been fun. I'm having a good time. It's been a long time since I read any of these, and I wanted to get into reading some, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll share. Like I said, I've got time. I was planning on staying about 2 hours, so I got 2 for going back and trying the other options. So let's see. What you think, Cody, Spine Ticks, and Dave? If you're still around, cast a vote, sirs. Ugh. Give a little sneak peek for my Saturday show. Let me see here. Yeah, we can go back, though I'm happy with dying in the lizardman slave pits. Let's see. Victor asks, have you read Joe Dever's Lone Wolf series? No, I have not, but I have heard of it. Lone Wolf. We got one saying wolf and one saying wold. It sounds familiar to me. I'm sure you meant wolf. Yeah, buddy. I've been reading those with my niece. That's cool. Well, that's 3 for trying a different route, so that's more than half. So we'll go to page 21. Like Victor wanted to in the first place. So we're going with your choice, Vic. You hear your father's voice saying, a leader knows when to act, when to wait for a better opportunity. And you know that as much as you want to dash to Jor's aid, you must think things through. Shifting slightly to avoid several rocks digging into your stomach, you notice that the whole area around you is strewn with rocks. You point out that fact to SARS and Chark beside you. I've been wondering about that, says SARS. I think we're in the old dry bed of the river. The batters must have shifted it for some reason. I have that game as a game on my phone. My favorite of these Pick Your Path books were the little-known Quest series. They are back in print as Fabled Lands. Good to know. Thanks, Cody. Victor says, nice. All right. I have a plan, you announce. It's dangerous, but not as dangerous as racing straight into the village. We're going to break the dam and send all the water rushing through the village. And what are we going to do about the batters guarding the dam? Say, excuse us while we break your dam, asked Chark. And what about Jor and the other prisoners? We'll get rid of the batters guarding the dam somehow, and I don't think there's enough water to harm the prisoners, but the batters all live below ground. Didn't you notice their holes? We'll wait until it gets darker and then go to the lake, you say. In that case, someone will have to lead me, SARS reminds you. It's not too bad here near the firelight, but I'd be almost blind by the lake. Wow. This is a big choice. But yeah, you all will be happy to know that it's a good one, I guess. I hope so. Not really sure. We'll find out together. You can stay behind and listen and tell us if any more batters are coming. We'll probably have to cross the lake to get to the dam. Chark will come with me. Maybe we better wait, says Chark, his eyes widening at mention of water. We can't wait, and we must do it tonight, you insist. Chark hesitates. You can almost hear his inner struggle. I'll go, but let's do it now before I lose my nerve. Leading your lizard friend, you retrace your steps through the forest and along the riverbed to the lake. Look, there's only one guard, whispers Chark. Yeah, and its back is to us, you say. It'll make it easier for us to sneak up behind him. Leaving SARS at the edge of the forest, you and Chark silently creep along the edge of the river, through the clearing and around the dam to the lake. With a quick glance at Chark, you enter the chilly water. You hear Chark whimper slightly as he follows you and slides in. You pat his shoulders encouragingly. You paddle soundlessly towards the battered guard, your heart pounding. As you near the back of the dam, you seek the lake bottom with a toe and discover that it slopes gradually upward toward the dam. You hear Chark let out a deep breath when he feels firm ground once more. Looking up, you see that the guard stands relaxed, leaning on its club. You signal Chark, and you each grab one of the guard's furry legs and pull with all your might. What the? It growls confused. The guard tries to catch its balance, at the same time reaching for its sword. With another sharp tug, the batter tumbles into the water. Stay away from its teeth, you hiss at Chark. You watch horrified as the batter snaps at Chark. No, you don't, you holler, bringing your fist down squarely on the crown of the batter's head. You swing again, and the guard slumps over the water and floats off, face down, until it bumps head first into the lower wall of the reservoir. Whew, you sigh, and rush over to where Chark is hanging on to the bank. Just then you hear a cry from the other side of the lake. SARS, you look up to see him grappling with another batter. You swim madly through the water only to be met by the body of the second batter as it topples into the water, trailing blood. Worried, you look up and see your friend, a look of satisfaction on his lizard face. Kate says, I suggest the Lifeline Pick-a-Path Stories apps. They are pretty good. Cool. Lots of interaction. I'm enjoying this. Okay. SARS, what happened, you whisper? Another one of those filthy things leaped out of the forest. You two are busy, so his voice trails off. You haul yourself out of the water beside SARS. I'd hate to see what you could do to a batter when you can see him, you marvel. When Chark joins you, you say urgently, we don't know if more batters are on the way. We've got to hurry and break the dam. You start chopping at the logs and stones of the dam with your spears. In a short time, you hear a loud creaking noise. You chip out a few more stones, then yell, stand back, it's going to go. The rest of the dam gives way with a loud crash, and the river floods into its old pathway, sweeping the bodies of the batters along with it. Cody says, I got my wife hooked on all the old text-based games. Have an app on my phone to play them. It's great fun revisiting all those. Okay. No time to celebrate, you say. We've got to get to Jor. You grab SAR's arm and trot to a higher spot away from the river. You leave him waiting at the edge of the forest, beyond the flow of water. You and Chark dash to the village and arrive just in time to see the water stuff out the last remnant of the fire, leaving only moonlight to see by. Sleepy batters, shouting in confusion and fear, scramble up ladders from their rapidly filling dens. You and Chark slosh through the village to a hut near the prisoner cage. The batters are too busy to notice you. Come on, Chark, now's our chance. You hurry around the hut to the door of the cage. The prisoners stare out from behind the bars at the scene of confusion. Some scream in fear as water laps at their legs. Okay, Kate says, I used to play MUDs, which are pretty much MMORPGs, but in text format. Cody says, I spent way too much time with MUDs. And Kate says, my favorites were Gemstone 3 and Dragon Realms. Okay, I got a picture here showing those furry creatures getting swept away. Victor adds, there's a program called Twine. You can write your own choose your own adventure games. That's kind of cool. All right, we got just a little bit left here, guys. Jor, you whisper, searching into the massive faces. Who's there? You see Jor's tall, thin body pushing through the crowd. Jor, it's me, Rin. Ren, no, it can't be. Is it really you? Cody says he doesn't remember which ones he used to play, but had a lot of fun with him. Yeah, I'm on that way with a lot of things. That is sweet, Victor. I will have to check that out. Yep, that'd be cool. Maybe you could post a link in the Lenhar Adventures Guild server on Discord. That'd be cool, Victor. Let's see what we got going on here for the last bit here. You begin to hack and pry at the wooden gate with your spear. Soon you have cleared an opening big enough to crawl through. Prisoners begin to scramble out hastily. Finally, the scraggy form of your brother emerges through the opening, and you throw your arms about him. Red, it is you. I can't believe it, he says, joy lighting his thin face. Reluctant to release you, Jor holds your shoulders and stands back a bit. You've changed, become a man. But how did you get here? Let's get away from here first, you say. The water's getting higher, and I'm sure your batter hosts aren't exactly happy with us for rerouting the river. So you did this. Same old Red, he says, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. Let's go, you say gruffly, afraid of the swelling in your throat. Chark, he exclaims as Chark moves into the moonlight. SARS is waiting for us by the trees south of the village. Or what it was the village, you add, looking around at the collapsing huts. The three of you slosh through the water and mud until you find SARS where you left him. SARS and Jor greet each other excitedly. Now tell me how you found me, Jor says. Each of you begin talking at once, laughing. Jor asks, you speak for everyone. Quickly you tell Jor all that has happened on your quest, and then add, but we have fulfilled enough of our quest to return to the village as proud men. We must get you home to our parents. Perhaps after you regain your strength, the four of us could set off for the mountaintop again. Chark and SARS each second both ideas enthusiastically. I would like that, Jor says softly. My own quest was interrupted. Proudly you turn and begin your journey back to the gates of New Hope. The end. Okay, that was pretty cool. In those two games, the healer class was called an empath, and instead of healing the other person, they took the wounds onto themselves, then healed it. Empathic healing is rare in sci-fi these days. That is true. Oh, so what did you guys think? Well, I mean, like I said, it makes me kind of want to play Gamma World. It's a good... Yeah, put this back. It's right there on the bottom. All right. That was good. Hello, Dave Collects. Yeah. Okay, now I'm a little confused. Dave Collects, are you Uncanny Swag? So I can get that straight in my head. Victor says, very cool. And Cody says it was fun. But in reverse order. All right, guys. So if you guys want, I can do like one of these a month. That'd be fun. Let's see. I never got to play Gamma World. Played a homebrew of Star Frontiers. Other than that, played a ton of AD&D until Palladium brought out Robotech, TMNT, Revised Recon, and Heroes Unlimited. A lot of these games are going to be familiar to a lot of you, and some not. I know Cody knows probably all of these. Cody says, Gamma World rules. I will have to run some Gamma World down the road. I would definitely want to play, sir. Let me see. The Serene says, I missed more than a few D&D gaming sessions because I was RPG in Dragon Realms. Dave Collects is the stronger bro. Swag is swag. Well, thanks for that clarification, Spine 6. Yo, happy almost Friday. Yes, sir. It's almost Friday. Yeah, posted the link in General Guild chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Once a month is good. I agree. So what would you guys like me to read next? Swag is Graybeard, not to be confused with Gray Bush. Yes, sir. I have to agree with that. Sith, my best friend, bro. Yes, sir. There we go. So we got 2 days technically in the house. Okay. So we got Dungeon of Dread, Mountain of Mirrors, Pillars of Pentagard. Yeah, I thought Grey Bush was funny too, Spine Ticks. Oh, we got a vote for Dragon of Doom. Dragon of Doom. So that's 1 for Dragon of Doom. Let's see, where are we at here? Return to Brookmere. But you probably read that one a lot, Victor. So have I. I based a lot of some of my magic devices off that one. Let's see. Or Pillars. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing Pillars too. That's a good one. Well, we might be able to do more than one depending on how fast we get through them. Like I said, Kate, you can read through it in this quest book pretty quick. Grey Bush has a weekly D&D session. Cool. I have one every other week, and actually I run 2 different games. I'm running one on Monday, and then on opposite Sundays I run one as well. So I get it, man. Gaming, once it gets in your blood, it's hard to not game. Second Victor's choice, Dragon of Doom or Pillars, sir? Let's see. Yeah, that was fast. Yes. Well, like I said, Endless Quest books, it's a quick little read. I used to read them at school even. Not between classes or anything, but I could read one at lunch sometimes. Cody says Dragon of Doom. So we got 2 votes for Dragon of Doom. All right, so we'll put this up here, Victor. Dragon of Doom so far has 2 votes. Pillars of Pentagard is a good choice too, Victor, for a backup. Let's see. Got those 2 top secret ones, and we got some Star Frontiers, Circus of Fear, Spell of the Winter Wizard, Rain on Nightmare Castle, Under Dragon's Wing, Dragon's Ransom. I read Pillars of Pentagard a lot, Cody. I love this one. And the sequel, Revenge of the Rainbow Dragons, I actually read this one after, but I think I like this one more. Kate says, I had an English class in middle school where it was a substitute teacher that couldn't handle the class, so we just did whatever we wanted. Read books, Dragon of Doom for me. Okay, that's 3. All right. I think that might be our deciding one. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining me. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. That one actually goes right there on top. So, like I said, I will probably do one like on the same Thursday I did this one. I'll look at my schedule real quick. Oh, cool. We got a buddy named a mutual friend named Justin that she met. He used to game with me a lot back in the day. Eintick says good times. And Cody says I was always reading books during school and not what they wanted me to read. Yes, yes. Oh, thank you, Victor. I had a lot of fun too. Now that I haven't said that already. Okay, let me see. We got Endless Quest books in B. How's the 12 sound for you guys on the same night, same bad time, same bad channel? Used to read them at homeroom. Yep. I used to read them whenever I could. I'd always have at least one Endless Quest book in my bag or in my pocket, depending on how I was rolling that week. Next week, I am going to be actually looking at my G.I. Joe comics at this time and space. So I'll probably start doing something every Thursday around this time. And you guys would be always welcome to join me in the chat or live. It would be up to you guys. Let's see. The fantasy books I read were much more advanced than the books they wanted me to read. Made it hard for me to read the lesser books without cringing. I agree. I was always reading the stuff that was beyond what they wanted me to read. Totally agree with that statement. And if I acquire some more in the future, I will definitely let you guys know. Put them on the list to read, and maybe we'll do this every month. Like Victor said, sounds good. Okay, so 12th of next month, Dragon of Doom. How's that sound? Dragonlance, rereading Dragonlance, the third book of the original trilogy. I have never had the opportunity to read those books because I've never had them. But Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, they wrote my favorite module, so I definitely like their writing style. So I probably love those books. But I guess that looks like we're good for the night. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I know Victor did. I appreciate you guys joining in and participating. And hope we can have as much fun next time. So, like I said, next week I'm doing G.I. Joe and me. So I'll be looking at all my G.I. Joe comics. So I don't have the whole original Marvel run, but I got a lot of them, and I got some of the IDW and some of the ones that were Image Devil's Due. So America's Elite, that was a good series. So I'll be looking at some of those. Cody says, yeah, dude, it was a good time. Good to see everyone and new faces. Victor says, thanks all of you and good night. Spinetick says, I only need 5 more of the full Marvel run. I'm pretty close too, but I don't know if it's that close. We'll find out next Thursday. But with that all being said, sirs and ladies, you guys have a good night and a good Friday. And Logan out. G.I. Joe is there.